All right, folks, so I'm going to do a quick video here highlighting the power of Mobile Guys Documentation Toolbox. Sure, some of you guys have seen some of this before, but just to recap, Mobile Guys Documentation Toolbox is an online repository for all of the data in your whole company, all of your diagnostic data. And all of your equipment ends up being on the system, and it automatically uploads all of its scans and all of its screenshots. So you'll notice that over here on the side, this is all pieces of equipment in my company that have uploaded data, okay? And this was mostly in the last, this is going to be in the last, like most of this I think was on Thursday or Friday. But at any rate, you can see here that I have a scan here, but I don't have a job that's been created or an invoice. There's no invoice with this. So I've got scan data that needs to be invoiced and needs to have a job. It needs to have the job paperwork processed. So to do that, we're going to create this job. All right. And we're going to choose the shop, which is, this is a dealership, so I really don't have a problem showing this. Let's see. So I got that. And we're going to select what we did. We did a diagnostic assessment. All right. Notice that it keeps track of job commission, and I pay my guys a spiff for everything I pay them a base, and then I pay them a spiff for every job they do. So every time you would add something that was done to this, it adds up the commission for this job, and then it saves it in the job payroll report that I export on payday. This thing is literally, MGDT has made my payroll completely. It used to take me an hour and a half to go through and add up all the spiffs, and now it does it completely automatically for me, and I can do payroll in like 5 minutes. So that's pretty crazy. But we did a diagnostic assessment. Okay, we're going to choose our job directory. Do we want to create the folder? Yes, we do. All right. Now we're going to click Quick Find. Quick Find scans the server for the current day and the previous day for this VIN, and it will highlight and add anything that has that VIN to the report automatically. So I'm going to hit Quick Find, and notice it brought up my launch report, my launch scan, and it brought up all my ISTA stuff with my test plan screenshots as I went through it. Okay, and it even brought up my parts list. So here's my parts list. Let's say that we wanted to highlight that this is our parts that's required. So I might draw a highlight around those, okay? Or I might put some text in there. I might say that those are the required parts. I might even draw an arrow to it. But there's all kinds of things that ScopeMate, this is actually ScopeMate. When you go into the editor in Mobile Guys Documentation Toolbox, because there's the piston location chart that shows you valve events. Notice it gives you the standard valve events. And let's say that your valve events, you find that your valve events on your engine aren't what the normal events would be, which is around 40, 10, 10, and 60. Let's say that they were different. Well, you can adjust them, and these cursors that show where the valve events are will change in your cylinder location. So I'm kind of getting off the beaten path here, but I'm going to go ahead and close that. This also has what I call dynamic phase rulers, where you can choose. It's the same as a piston location chart, but you can choose what stroke you want to show. So if you're only concerned, if you're doing an exhaust capture, for example, that's only showing exhaust. So it's showing what cylinder's on exhaust when. It's the same thing as the piston location chart. It's just kind of moved so that only the exhaust is shown. So I call that a dynamic phase ruler. But it does all kinds of really crazy stuff. It has a built-in firing order. There's a firing order library. So let's say we'll type in Ford. Notice it'll bring up all these Fords. Oh, look, it just gave us a Ford V8 firing order. So, and that stuff's all built in. You can add that. You can add to this whenever you want. ScopeMate is really crazy. If you don't have MGDT, you can go to my website and you can download ScopeMate, a standalone version that's separate from MGDT. But that'll give you a little bit. I'm not gonna. Actually, I am gonna save this before closing. Yes. Oh, except I put my cylinder location chart on there, so I screwed that up. Let's delete that. All right, let's Quick Find again. There it is. It popped it right back in when I Quick Found. So I don't really even need to highlight that. I just was able to show you guys how you might mark one up. I'm not even going to save it. I'm happy with that the way it is. But the other thing, well, I don't like, most of what I do is post-collision restoration stuff. So what I say is typically very canned, and the templates work really well for that because I say basically the same thing every time. This one's a diagnostic situation. They're always different. All right, so we're going to create document. Okay, and that put a little write-up here on my letterhead. All right, so there's all that. We got all that. We're happy with all that. We're going to merge. Okay, sure, we'll view it in the directory. Okay, so this entire directory has been built during the time we've been doing this video. This wasn't even here. Okay, so here's our report. There's all of our documentation, and if you wanted to, you could go in and actually mark up. You could actually mark up your wiring diagrams and stuff. Like you could say, oh, this was good here, this was bad there, whatever. But yeah, we could highlight our code that we had. But yeah, now the other thing is once we're going to close this. All right, we're going to close this, and once we're done, I copy my VIN, so my VIN is on my clipboard, and then I'm going to go ahead and close. Do I want to save the job? Yes, I do. Notice now I have a job here, but I don't have an invoice. So as soon as I go into QuickBooks and create the invoice and send the invoice, I'll hit update invoices from QuickBooks. And when I do, the invoice number this is integrated with QuickBooks. So it'll actually pull from QuickBooks and put my invoice number there. So it'll show me that the scan has been completed, the job has been completed, and it's been invoiced. Does that make sense? These have all been invoiced and are ready to go. So yeah, this is crazy. I don't know how. I personally could not do my job in this where I'm at. I would not be able to keep up with my current volume if not for Mobile Guys Documentation Toolbox. And I wanted to do a quick video to show you guys some of its power. Guys, take care. Thanks for following along, and we'll catch you later.